I am fast. Don't mess with the water, man, because we have to get back on the bus and I don't have any towels.
There's a drought and we put a fountain just for the segment.
So we are back in San Pedro at the end of the Silver Line. I love this fountain, the interactive fountain. It makes me so happy that I spew interactive fountain from my mouth, laughing. And in the background there, that's where they board the cruise ships, because San Pedro is the port of Los Angeles. And also in the background, you can see some of the canisters that they load stuff up with. Everything that comes into this country, from the Pacific, from Mexico, it all comes through San Pedro and the harbor and Long Beach. And it's so awesome. You can get there in under an hour on the Silver Line, not have to park. And then there's that cool bridge in the background.
Not the bridge where director Tony Scott jumped to his death?
Yes, and also it's where William Peterson tempted death by jumping from the bridge in To Live and Die in LA in the 80s,
yes.
which inspired me to jump off a bridge in the 80s. And I went down to a dry riverbed in Jacumba on the 8. Freeway 8, and I jumped off a bridge, and it was awesome. And it's because I saw a dude jump off of that bridge. And I said, wow, I should do that too. And that's why you should read books and not watch movies.
Right.
So anyway, this is the first time I've had an episode where we have 3 returning guests. All 3 of my guests today are going to be at the Comedy Central stage on April 26th, Tuesday night at 8 p.m. in Hollywood. And by the way, that show, it is free, but you do have to call in with a reservation. So call 323-960-5519.
I'm sorry, what was that number again?
It was 323-960-5519. So one of the cool things about having everybody back for the first time in one place is I get to break out some of these letters from real viewers around the world. These are letters from the Green Commuters. I'm so excited to debut this today. We had so many letters coming in that I decided to select only people from the greater Los Angeles area for this one. But keep those emails and letters coming in at bustedlosangeles@gmail.com, and I'll do our best to have those answered for you. So our first question goes to Tanya White from Santa Monica.
Oh,
and,
okay. My stomping ground.
Dear Tanya, well, it's formal. I am a big fan of Busted Los Angeles and your stories, and I was wondering what you think of those artsy Santa Monica bus benches. Have you had a chance to sit in them? And do you use the little tabletops when you sit in there? Signed, Sarah Wilcox in La Crescenta.
Well, hi, Sarah. That's actually a great question because you know those are brand new. I think to call them benches would be an overstatement. As they are simply just discs that are uncomfortable for one thing. And while I do kind of like the little table thing because I can't sit my stuff there and write, I don't think that they're conducive to being actually a shelter, which I think is the point of a bus stop, to actually cover you from the elements. So while they look kind of groovy, I would appreciate a different design that's more human focused.
I'd like to get a setup like that for my studio apartment when I can afford a studio apartment. I think it would be awesome. Any other inputs on the benches in Santa Monica?
I've seen the new benches and I feel like, are they made for human butts? They seem like very uncomfortable.
Definitely not all human butts.
For top
especially-
models, but
Yeah, only Santa Monica butts.
yes.
Yeah,
Skinny white butts.
Yes, skinny white butts.
I don't think the butts of the
Yoga,
LA
Vegan
Metro,
yoga butts.
the
Not East Side butts.
LA Metro butts would not fit on a blue bus stop bench.
Gluten-free butts.
Anyway, there's question number 1. Let's move on to this next letter, and this is for Brandon from Culver City. Let's see. Hi, Busted Los Angeles. You're my favorite show about getting around Los Angeles, told by people who don't drive. Keep up the good work. This message is for Brandon. Dear Brandon, you seem like a likable guy. Why does everybody at the end of your stories want to beat you up? Signed, Ralph Potsy in Culver City.
Good question.
Well, first of all, I want to point out that when you take public transportation, you have a lot of free time to write fan mail to web series. So that's important.
It's true.
If you were driving, you wouldn't do this. I have actually. It was weird because like no one's ever tried to get into a fight with me until the past 3 years, and it's happened 4 times like in that 3-year period. It just all came at once. So when I was at the age where I was able to fight and would want to fight, there were no challenges. And now that I just want to be left alone, people want to bring it. Luckily, I've gotten away without actually having to engage in fisticuffs. The closest I came was this guy who was driving almost hit me while I was crossing the crosswalk, and we started screaming at each other back and forth, as you do. And he said, I'm going to pull over and whoop your ass right now. And we were downtown. He was following me in his car while I was walking. He could not find a parking spot. There was no open spaces down to this red curve. So he followed me for a block and a half, saying, as soon as I pull over and park my car, I'm going to whoop your ass. But he didn't want to risk the parking ticket. So for once, the tough parking rules saved my butt from getting whipped. I got to the subway and got away. So far, so good. Knock on green screen. Knock on fountain that no one's ever actually going to get to fight me.
Well, you know, it's actually Brandon and Tanya both are motorists these days, or part-time motorists, and I think that we're going to go home with Tanya. What do you think, Katya?
I agree.
Nothing
Sounds
against
good.
you, Brandon.
It's a bit fighty around me.
This letter is for Katya. This is from Howard Eastlas in the Miracle Mile. Katya, I'm a big fan of your Tales from the Bus group on Facebook that you curate, and I enjoy watching you once or twice a month on Busted Los Angeles and at all your live events. My question for you is, do you have people recognizing you now on the Expo line or on your bus rides because you mention your buses on your routes, and do they ever ask you for advice? Signed, Howard Eastlas in Miracle Mile.
Thank you, Howard. That's a very interesting question. In fact, it only happened to me once or twice when I would stand on the bus stop and people would go, I know you from somewhere. Do you write a blog? Do you do storytelling events? And I would say yes. And both times it would be people who came to our events or people who are on Facebook. So not quite famous yet.
Famous in your bus and train, though.
Yes, good enough.
Thank you for that question.
People approach me on the bus and they say, I don't know you, but I want to fight you.
Oh no!
I've had people approach me on the train and bless my knee when I was recovering from knee surgery, and I thought that was really nice of them. Didn't help, but it made me feel nice anyway.
Damn you, Obama.
That's all I could afford, you know. I'm a single male. This one is for me. Dear Scott, thank you so much for your show, Busted. I really enjoy these stories about getting around LA. Do you ever have anybody from the city reach out to you, or any? Are you ever going to have any politicians on your show? Signed, Fallon Mendoza in Pico Union. Well, thank you, Fallon. That's really cool for you to write in. I'm glad you enjoyed the show. And you know, we try to not be so much political as social civic. You know, I've reached out to a few politicians, council members who I think are very supportive towards the cause of green commuting. I'm not going to name names of ones I've reached out to, but hopefully in due time we'll have some people representing the city on the show. And we have had people from Great Streets Initiative participate in our live events in the past at shows in Echo Park, and we hope to have those again. And you know, with politics, whenever it's politically advantageous to be a part of a program, you know, they will be a part of it. But we are friendly towards those who are green commuters and friendly towards the green commuter cause. And no, we will not be welcoming Gil Cedillo to the show anytime soon. But that was a great question. And last question here is, when are you guys going to be at No, I'm sorry. I read that wrong. It said, Dear Scott, how do we bring Busted to our community so that we can see your show live? I didn't wear my glasses today. I apologize. Signed, Chris Johnson. Well, Chris, if you want Busted Los Angeles to come live to your community, all you have to do is write in to bustedlosangeles@gmail.com. Say where you're from. If you have a place, a venue in your area that you think would make sense. I'm always looking for new places to bring the show. We're always looking for new voices. Anywhere the buses and the trains go, Busted wants to be there. And by the way, if you want to tell stories of your own on Busted, or want to recommend a friend of yours, write in at bustedlosangeles@gmail.com and feel free to pitch your story. Feel free to pitch your friend. I try to get back to everybody as soon as possible, and we have actually had features on the show who have come directly from the emails. So thank you all for writing in. Please keep those emails and letters coming. bustedlosangeles@gmail.com. Our website is bustedlosangeles.com, and we're on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and all that. Anyway, one more time, hard push. Busted Los Angeles is coming to the Comedy Central stage Tuesday, April 26th. We're going to have today's features there. Brandon Burkhart, master of the 6-minute story.
I'll fight you.
Tanya White, she is the goddess of the big blue bus. Katya Duft, she is Tales from the Bus, curator of the greatest green commuting group on Facebook. And I'll be there too, Scott Schultz. We're also going to have Horace Raw, Horace the Hero. We're also going to have Greg Wallach from Eat Your Worlds, another Busted favorite, will be there. That show is absolutely free, but you do have to call in to the Comedy Central stage hotline, 323-960-5519. Thank you guys once again. We're on first Friday, third Friday of every month at dronebox.com. Thank you to our producer, Nolan, our tech whiz, Lewis, our camera whiz, Ashley, and everyone else that helped out. Stories LA for being our home terminal. You guys are awesome. So anyway, that's all for Busted. For those of you taking the bus, riding the bike, riding the train home, be careful out there. And for all of you motorists, please respect the crosswalks. Thank you.